Here at Apache Camping Center, we see all sorts of types of trailers, and it is sometimes hard to see anything kind of changing the way that you think about the interior layout. This Outdoors RV, coming out of nowhere, they've started producing something that's a little bit different thinking than what they usually do. They usually stick to more traditional style layouts, and this one being far from that. This is the 22 MKS. Let's take a look around and see why this makes it a little bit different than everything else. Outdoors RV is a locally owned company out of La Grande, Oregon. They produce a heavy built trailer. They're not owned by one of the larger conglomerates, so you see a lot of the truss and build and construction a lot heavier than the rest. It does come to a much heavier trailer, which this one, as the Titanium series, their premium package, is gonna be about 6,700 pounds dry. Now, it's 27 feet in length from tip to tail, and let's start here on the tip. This is going to be one of their signature series, molded fiberglass construction, right on the nose cap, straight down to a diamond plating, so all of that brunt force from the road is not hurting your trailer at all. They sit way higher than most trailers, and that is coming down to their chassis, and then also not their drivetrain, but their wheelbase. These chassis are going to be a lot heavier built, full circle on the framing. The frames are actually built in-house, and that is different than 99% of the other trailer manufacturers, and it makes for a much more balanced ride because the layout inside is balanced to the chassis that's on the bottom, whereas you can get a different trailer that they throw a bunch of different layouts on that chassis, making it tow a little bit different. Now you can see the coupler. Let's get a closer look at that because that's going to be very different than what we usually see. So check out this coupler. This is going to look very different than what you can see on a normal travel trailer. But because these sit so high, in the past you used to have risers on your tailgate to get your ball high enough, even for a truck, for a standard, Ford GMC 350 or so, you would have to get a riser to get it to the ball height that would sit this trailer level. Because you can drop this down, you no longer need the riser, which means you don't need to take off the riser when opening your tailgate so you don't put a big dent in your tailgate. That has been a huge improvement, and a lot of Outdoors RV owners are very happy about that. You can see how it's fully welded all the way around 360 degrees. Again, custom made chassis on this extremely tall power jack for you. Moving further back onto the tongue is pretty long, but it's long for a reason. You've got the large propane tanks up front, and then you have an area for a 4-battery tray. Now, there's a lot of people that like to put on 4 6-volt batteries, and they're AGM, so they'll give you a lot better capacity and usage. But a lot of people also like to put on lithium packages, and you can also give us a call and we'll talk you through what's available in that selection. Moving into the pass-through. The pass-through is where the attention to detail starts to shine. It is a fully carpeted one side, diamond-plated bottom, and finished out front on these pass-throughs. All the way through, absolutely phenomenal build, and because you were throwing some harder stuff in here, mostly outdoor gear, the diamond plate helps keep it really nice. These openings are actually created to be the size to fit a small Honda generator in there. So you can pull that out and run some of your systems that you won't be able to run just off of solar and your battery at your campsite. Up here we do have the controls for the auto leveling system. That is nice to have and comes standard on your titanium package. As we continue to look at building construction on these things, this is going to show you some of the insulation factor of these trailers. This is going to be a solid foam core door that's about 1 inch thick. Now, most of the time when you have a 4 Seasons trailer, you're cutting a hole in it, making a door, and it's going to be a lot thinner than that. So this provides a lot of insulation factor in these doors, so you don't have a big hole cut in it, but also the underside of the pass-through is also insulated, so you don't have that chill coming up through that big empty space, and it also helps prevent some of the condensation that sometimes happens in trailers underneath the bed. Now, the standard insulation throughout the rest of the trailer is 2 inches thick, which is almost double than a normal trailer size. So it gives you plenty of insulation to keep you warm and cozy for the long term. As we move back to the slide out, you'll see that this is a Schwintex slide. A lot of people have heartburn about the Schwintex, and that's come from a little bit of their early days, and especially during the pandemic era. where they switched to a plastic gear drive and since switched back to a metal gear drive, giving much better results. Also, manufacturers have learned that a Schwintek is much better on a smaller slide such as this than something that would be a full trailer length slide on a fifth wheel, which doesn't hold up nearly as well. So I just want to point out one other thing on the slide here. When they frame out the skirting on here, they actually frame out the aluminum frame all the way down to the bottom of the skirting, so you don't get this flapping around in the wind going down the road and you don't have it ripping off. It is something that they just focus on that solid build quality. All right, the fun doesn't just stop at the front end, but it continues around the back. You do have a large storage area right here, which is about 2 feet deep by 3 feet tall, and you have a sneaky compartment up top, which we'll see on the inside, that makes great use in the kitchen. Now, every trailer, because they're built so tough, you've got this fat ladder that does get you to that fully walkable roof, and that can hold a lot of weight. You could probably sit up there and watch the stars if you wanted to at night. A full welded on bumper with your spare tire, which are Goodyears, and they are G-rated tires, so that it's going to be a solid tire throughout, and a 2-inch receiver down below underneath that. This is movable. You can slide it further left to right so you can fit on your bike rack. The frameless windows are fantastic and come on the titanium series, as well as the backup camera on there, fully stock on the titanium series, which is their higher end model. If you wanted to see all of the different things that you get on the titanium series versus the mountain series, feel free to click our video below that will describe those features. One of the last things I wanted to just mention on the attention to detail in terms of the four-season capabilities of these is when you have an outdoor shower, usually it's just a thin plastic sheet over a tube full of water or a pipe full of water. That's not going to do you much good when you're in freezing weather. They do still have that inch-thick insulation over their outdoor shower, which gives you much more peace of mind when you have water going through a line that's exposed to the elements. This is the suspension area that we have, the upgraded All-Trek 4000 suspension system, which does make it a variable suspension, solid axle throughout, and then you have KYB shocks on there. The tires are going to be Goodyear Endurance, and those are Load Raid E. So a very tough tire to be able to hold on for all the rough roads. You can see that this is coming up pretty tall compared to me. So you get a lot of the clearance if you're going into a little bit rougher areas. And Oregon, Washington, we have a lot of different logging roads on the mountains, taking them out to the dunes. And so it is something that is built to go on rougher roads. A lot of people take these up to Alaska and have no problems making it through some of those longer stretches of washboard roads. All right, so I told you it was going to be an interesting interior on this. It's a layout that I haven't seen before, and we're gonna take a look inside and see what makes it stand apart from the rest. So here we are coming in on the rear end of the trailer, and this is gonna give you one of the best features that Outdoors RV provides on some of their different models, which is this beautiful rear kitchen. Plenty of space to be able to do prep work and also enjoy the amazing view. Generally, when you have windows on a trailer and you're parked at a campsite, you've got neighbors on the left, neighbors on the right, and the view is in the rear. Now you can finally enjoy it to its fullest extent while you're cooking up a mean meal for the crew. Do you have a huge basin sink on one side, which this is what these counters are made of. It is something that is solid and it's going to last a long time. It's not any of those composites that peel or break while you're using it. It does have an upgraded faucet with an extendable hose, 3-burner stove with a little bit larger oven. If you love baking, if you love cooking, this is definitely a place for you. Plenty of storage all around, which honestly on some of these rear kitchens, they lack. Because you lose so much of the space up top to be able to store things, you lose a lot more of that storage space, but this is made up for in the fact that you have a huge pantry right next door to your lower cabinet. So opening this up very deep inside, all the way throughout. You can chock it full of food, and go for the long term. Not to mention, if we're talking about being slide in on the road and you want to come in and grab a Coke while you're getting thirsty while traveling, you can pull over to the side of the road. Fridge is right there. You can stock up everything when you're at the grocery store, and you don't have to throw out that slide. As far as the lounging area, you do have these 2 recliners, which do have the rip cords that you can lounge back on. And these are extremely comfy. 2 cup holders here, TV straight in front of you, ready to relax. Now I'm sitting on the slide right here, and one thing to note on, again, the 4-season capability of these trailers is that these walls are built out to the same wall cutout as the exterior wall. So you're still having inch-thick bonded fiberglass that is, and foam core insulation that is throughout the rest of the trailer. So if you look at a lot of different trailers that are on the market, you push the slide out, this wall right here is going to be a lot thinner than the rest of the trailer. So you're losing a lot of that insulation on some other travel trailers when you slide the slide out. Not the case for Outdoors RV. So we're walking into the central bath right here. This is not on a slide, but it does have the entertainment system right here. So, you know, when you're taking a shower or something, you're kind of in the action when you're walking in and out of the bathroom, but not too big of a deal. Nice little tub down here. And I'll show you what it looks like. 6'5", stepping into the shower. I can stand up tall and actually stretch up because I got the little dome George Jetson roof on here, and be able to take a shower pretty comfortably. It is one of these pull across shower curtains. Not my favorite when you're trying to get a little bit extra room because your elbows bump up against it, but not that big of a deal. A nicer upgraded shower head that is movable because it is, again, the titanium series. Just so you have an idea of the space where the toilet sits, I'm sitting on the toilet right here. This is going to give me a little bit crowded on the knees because you're kind of kitty corner in here. But, you know, if you got some reading material, it's actually got a backrest, which is pretty comfy. All right, so this is where this trailer really shines. This is actually the front of the trailer here. This is going to be the dinette that you have, but where's the bed? Boom, bed's right there. So you have so much space in a 27-foot overall trailer to have room to spread out, enjoy your time in a really comfortable environment. And then when you're ready to go to bed, you just fold this down and you can go to sleep. So let's do that now. I'll show you how that works. You can put the table up. Pull the supports out. Pull the levers and away you go. And now on these, this is such a more comfortable mattress than what you normally get. A lot of people will not replace this, especially because this will bend at the middle. You can't really feel it because it is more of a memory foam than a spring where you'd have to cut it like in a fold-away bed. So I know some people have some reservations about a Murphy bed. Please come in, try it. You will be pleasantly surprised. So this has been the 22 KVS from Outdoors RV. The building instruction, absolutely phenomenal, and the interior layout, definitely different than what I've seen in other travel trailers. Outdoors RV, known for their building construction. If you see one, make sure to go in, stomp on the floor. That alone will tell you how these are constructed and built. If you like this model or any of the other Outdoors RV models, feel free to contact us at Apache Camping Center. And if you like this one in particular, the pricing and availability is linked below. Please like, subscribe, share, and we will see you in the next one.